Hello there! Today I'll be answering the question of whether the brain is a supercomputer. Basically, how do we compare this bloody blubbery blob to the neat rows of processors in a supercomputer? But first, what exactly is a computer? A computer is a programmable device that stores, retrieves, and processes data. So, a supercomputer would be a computer but with a high level of performance compared to a general purpose computer. Therefore, we can oversimplify both their functions in this diagram. In this case, input is sent to the processing unit, the CPU, then the processor controls memory, memory provides an algorithm, and then the processor uses that algorithm, meaning the set of instructions for accomplishing a task, to process the input into an output. Hence, the supercomputer would be an upscaled version of that massively oversimplified computer, with many processors linked together to perform parallel functions, like this. However, unlike how you would use your regular computer, supercomputers are equipped with more powerful hardware to be efficient at dedicated tasks. They are effectively number crunchers. You may use them for an array of applications, from nuclear physics to mathematics. Popular examples are expansive weather forecasting using large datasets. Now, onto the brain. The cerebrum part of the brain is what we generally attribute our computing or abstract reasoning abilities to. Although the cerebrum is proportionally larger and denser in neurons in humans than any other animal, the brain does not solely consist of the cerebrum. The brain overall is defined to be a mass of nerve tissue that controls most of the activities of the body. It processes, it integrates, it coordinates the information it receives from the sensory organs, and it makes decisions as to the instructions sent to the rest of the body. But what comprises the brain? Here, the computer has distinct parts for distinct functions, for example, RAM or the graphics card, while the brain contains 86 billion co-equal units, called neurons. As I said, 86 billion neurons, and you can see two of them on the right. You can see a neuron with its dendrites, the input sites, and an axon, the output side. Imbalances in ion distributions across the axon membrane cause electrical impulses as such, which travel down the axon until they reach the ends. In the axon terminals, the electrical impulse induces certain neurotransmitter molecules to be secreted into the gap, and when they bind to the receptors on the adjacent neuron, the neurotransmitters can either excite or inhibit the behavior of that neuron. Shown here is the connection between just two of them, and although there are about 100 interwoven neurons in a mini-column, this number steps up when we remember that there are 200 million of these mini-columns in one cortical sheet, the larger part of the cerebrum. Similar to when the interconnected processors in a supercomputer function as a whole, the interconnected neurons firing together make possible the aforementioned functions of the brain. But the capabilities of the brain are far different to that of a supercomputer. Humans are more adapted to understanding complex social situations and finding patterns which would be essential in the hunter-gatherer years of our ancestry. Even after 10 millennia, each baby is born roughly similar compared to our ancestors. Now, we educate our children differently, using memes passed on from parents to children. These are methods or algorithms that help us understand the world in a certain way, and they can be anything from language to algebra. Culture and knowledge has helped us develop unidirectionally, but our multifaceted brains make data manipulation, repetitive tasks, and parallel processing tedious operations that are easier to automate. The function of the supercomputer is essentially to be very efficient at these, and not at communicating, nor creating, nor empathizing. In a nutshell, comparing your brain to a supercomputer is like comparing your child with savant syndrome to your functional self. They are way better than you at computation, but that's the only thing they're good at. For now at least. I thank you for listening. Goodbye.